Here we are. We're at the Quick Start webinar. Welcome, everybody. My name is Noah Harris. We do this training every single Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I highly recommend putting this on your calendar so that you can attend over and over and over and over again. Okay, so here's the deal with what we do. We do our absolute best to practice Private Money Club fundamentals, best practices, and this is a great place to stay sharp, right? And to learn, right? So if you're tuning in for the first time, maybe you've heard private money lending might be a great way to fund a real estate deal, or might be a great way for a person to make interest on their money. You've heard correct, right? But there's things that we got to do. There's boxes we got to check. There's a certain way of doing this because this business is risky. So every single time I teach and share my experiences with you guys, I'm always disclosure, disclaimers, things of this nature. So what's cool about real estate, no piece of real estate is the same. It's unique. That's what makes it special, right? You learn that in real estate when you get your license. Real estate's unique. So is every single deal. So with that being said, like if I share with you case studies or things that I do in my business every day as a real estate investor, just know that that's never going to happen exactly how it went for me, for you, or for anyone for that matter, right? So this business is extremely risky. I wouldn't lend money that you couldn't afford to lose, and I would certainly want to educate myself as much as possible before making a loan or before borrowing funds from someone, right? You guys all understand that? Give me a big oh yeah in the chat box if you can get down with that. And one of the things I'll tell you, if you want to learn how to be great at borrowing funds, it's important to talk about the risks. I love it when lenders ask me questions and I can answer it and they're like, yeah, that makes sense, right? I want people to understand that this can be risky, and to know that we have things in place and systems in place and procedures and things that we do to help mitigate that, right? So I'm not a licensed real estate attorney, real estate agent, contractor, accountant, or any of these things. I'm simply a real estate investor. That this is what I do in my wife and I's business. I go out there and I build relationships with lenders and borrowers, right? So I'm sharing with you my personal experiences. Every single time that I meet anyone for that matter, and I feel like every single time we kick off one of these webinars, I'm talking about this, and that's the importance of building your team. So if you don't know who your closing attorney is, or who's going to be drafting the paperwork, or who your real estate agent is going to be if you're fixing and flipping properties, who your contractor is going to be the weeks before you actually buy the property, we need to get these things figured out. And the better you are at surrounding yourself with people who do this for that aspect of real estate for a living, right, the more successful a person's going to be. And if you're out here and you're brand new, right? You're brand new. Is there anyone who's brand new to real estate investing? Is anyone here who's brand new to real estate investing? Type it in the chat box if you are. There's got to be someone. We've got 78 people on the call right now. Anyone brand new? All right, Patrick Clark. I love it. All right, cool. Thank you so much. All right, cool. So here's what's awesome, guys. Like I can teach you everything that I do in my business. I can teach you exactly what to say, how to say it. So if you're at a coffee shop with a potential private money lender, they're going to be through the roof confidence level, excited to do business with you. But what happens if before you get up from that meeting, before you have commitment from that lender that they want to work with you, what happens if that lender asks you a question? They say, hey, how many deals have you done? Right? How many have you done? And if you haven't done any, what do you say? What if you're brand new to this? What do you say, right? Hopefully you're honest about that, right? But there's a better way where we can do this, right? Everyone starts somewhere. So when I talk about the importance of building out your team, I know this might seem repetitive for some of you guys who have been on here before. This is so critical, especially if you're brand new, because no matter what you've done, Mike could say, hey, look, for the last 10 years, I've been doing this with my life and my career. In addition to helping build that legacy, I'm also building my own legacy in real estate investing. But Mr. and Mrs. Lender, prior to going out and having conversations with folks like you, I went out there and I found my real estate attorney. I found my real estate agent. I found my contractor. I found my financial planner. I've got the accountant in place. I've got a property management company. I have all these different professionals lined up. So while I might be brand new to this, I've got over 100 years of real estate investing experience surrounding me, right? And that might not seal the deal, but what's cool is they're going to say, hey, you know what? I'm still listening, right? Send me the details of this opportunity, right? So I don't know, is that good stuff? We're just kind of getting the ball rolling here, but I can't emphasize this enough. the importance of surrounding yourself with a great team. And, and that's how we help mitigate risk, right, guys? So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Noah Harris. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. My goal for every single person who has an interaction with me as a coach, that might be on this webinar, it might be with my accelerator class that I teach for Private Money Club, is a 100% track record, whether you're a borrower or a lender. My dream is that 5 years from now, I meet you face to face on a catamaran or something crazy like that in the Gulf of Mexico, and at a Private Money Club event, and you come up and you're like, hey, no, remember me on April 25th, 2024, I was on your Quick Start webinar, and I got into your accelerator class, and guess what? 100% track record with my lenders. Boom, that's what I love to see. Hey, 100% track record with my borrowers. Boom, that's what we're all about, right? So we're practicing this stuff. And this is, private money lending is relationship based, right? So what's great about private money, I'm going to get into the fundamentals of this. Remember, it's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. If you don't have a good relationship, so Private Money Club, if you're just tuning in for the first time, real quick, how many of you are Private Money Club members? You're like, I know what the Private Money Club is, and I'm a member. Just type me in. Yeah, thank you, Leanne. Type me in the chat box. If you're not a Private Money Club member yet, okay, I'm gonna have Jacob throw up a link once the chat slows down a little bit, so you can click on it and go join Private Money Club. Private Money Club has a couple different options. They got the option, right? You can create a profile for free, poke around in there, and then they got the premium membership, super affordable, Leapfrog, Go Premium. But with Private Money Club, what this is it's a platform, right? And I'm sharing this with you because I'm sharing with you how a person can take advantage of this, of borrowers and lenders, right? Borrowers and lenders. And majority of the folks that I found in Private Money Club understand what private money lending is and how it works. They get the gist of it, right? You're not going to join something that you don't understand, like the gist of it, right? Private Money Club. Why is this so beneficial? And I'm telling you this because this is learning lessons here, okay? These are why is this so beneficial? So I'm finding that in my accelerator course, I'm teaching less and less about elevator pitches and helping people craft elevator pitches because the people in Private Money Club already understand what it is. So for 10 years prior to this network, this community, I had to do this like the old-fashioned way. I feel like your grandfather or whatever that's like, oh, I had to walk to the school and 5 miles, 24 inches of snow back and forth. Life was so hard. That's what I feel like I'm saying right now. But this is how it worked. For the first 10 years of my real estate investing career, I had to go and have conversations with neighbors, friends, family members, real estate clubs, and I had to like, hey, how would you like to make double-digit rate of return on your money? Does that sound enticing? Does that sound good? And I had to like do these elevator pitches to get people kind of interested in just learning about what private money lending was. Okay, so in Private Money Club, everyone already knows what it is. So if you haven't joined the club, click the link that Jacob just threw up, hop on a blueprint call and let him help you create a profile in PMC, and it's going to be a great decision, right? So I know there's people on here right now who are looking for deals. And I know there's people I can see your names. I know there's people on here who have deals. I just got off the phone with Chris Stokes a few days ago. Chris Stokes, if you're in the chat box, throw up your information. She had a nice little, sweet little deal that is worth looking into, right? So I know right away. Julian, if you're on this call right now, throw up your information. I looked at a deal that Julian had. It looked pretty good to me. So this is the opportunity. So yes, we're learning on the webinar, but we're also here to network, learn, just like the shirt says, learn, network, and grow, right? That's what this is all about. So a few things that we do here in Private Money Club. We've got this Money Tank event coming up this weekend. It's a live class. You guys have heard me talk about it a million times. It's the flagship event for Private Money Club. It's in Salt Lake this weekend. There's also a virtual option that you can tune in virtually. My wife's going to be teaching about mobile home investing. I'm going to be teaching more about private money lending. And I also teach a course called the Accelerator Program through Private Money Club, where for twice a week, for 4 weeks, a couple hours each session, You and I go through exactly what to do to become great at borrowing and lending money. I teach you what to say it, how to present, everything that we're doing in snippets here on these webinars. I cover, we call it the accelerator because I'm able to compress the time and help get you up to speed. All right. So if you want to learn more about that, Jacob's got the link. You can schedule a call with Jake. We call it the blueprint call, and you can get into that program too. All right. Here's the game plan. Every single class that I teach, we start on time. We keep it real estate. There's all different types of lending opportunities in Private Money Club. I'm just teaching you what I do in and out every day, and that's real estate. So if you're in the room and you're like, let's work on single family, small multifamily, land, things like this, you're in the right space, okay? Participation is encouraged. Let's practice that right now. If you are a borrower and you are looking for funding for deals, type borrower in the chat box. If that's you, if you're the real estate investor, type borrower in the chat box. This is good to have people identify who you are, what you guys got going on. I love it. I love it. I love it. If you are a lender, type lender in the chat box real quick. Type lender, lender, lender. All right, cool. Oh, cool. And then I got some people that do both. And this is a great learning lesson as well. I have a lot of friends who are real estate investors. They use other people's money to fix and flip and do those deals. But then they also have retirements from previous employers. They roll those retirement accounts over into self-directed retirement accounts that allow them to go out and then become lenders themselves, which is awesome. So some people, are you both? Type both here if you're new. All right, cool. All right, awesome. And then questions. If you have any questions, type the questions in the Q&A section here for me, okay? Type questions in the Q&A section, because if it's a question, it's in the chat, I probably will miss it because the chat's just going too fast for me. I saw a couple already. I'll try to go back because I hadn't mentioned it yet that this is how we do questions. But okay, here's a good question. What are the most important questions to ask if you are looking to loan money to an investment? If you're looking to loan money to a borrower, there's a lot that we got to look at. But big picture, Leanne, if you're thinking about making a private money loan, here's what we got to look at. Number one, we got to look at the deal. Okay, the deal. Number two, we got to look at the person, right? And really figure out, like, okay, number one, the deal. What's so great about private money, Leanne? I want to make sure if I'm the lender, I'm lending money. I want to make sure my money is secured by the real estate. That's what makes this great. So we got to make sure that they're going to have the proper documents, which we're going to talk about on this call, right? We want to make sure that the deal itself has equity in it. So if I'm lending $100,000, maybe I want to make sure that the property is worth at least 180. You follow me? So my $100,000 loan is then secured by an asset that's worth more. And then I want to be able to interview the borrower and figure out, hey, does this person have it together? Do they have a team? Do they have a contractor? Do they have a real estate agent? Do they have a real estate attorney lined up? What's their track record? Are they brand new? That's okay. But do they have a game plan in place, or are they winging it? Right? So we got to look at big picture, the project, and then the person. Okay? So those are two things, but stay plugged in, take the accelerator class or tune in every single week to continue to learn more, but please don't just lend without knowing the questions to ask, because there are a lot of them. There's some boxes that we need to check, okay? Is there an opportunity to lend money that I am restricted from doing in Private Money Club? Maybe that's a state-specific thing, Paul. I think the big thing that I would say, Paul, is to get, if you're looking to lend money, I really want to make sure that, or if you're in, oh, he has an example. Can I lend for the 30-year life of the loan? I think you're asking, is there an opportunity to lend that I'm restricted from doing I want to you want to do a 30-year mortgage, a 30-year loan? Is that what you want to do? All right, moving on. Let me know in the Q&A. All experience levels are welcome, and I got my boy Jacob in the chat helping you guys out. If you have any questions at all, he'll put the link up. It's called the Blueprint link, and you can hop on a call with the PMC team to see how they can help you. What we try to crush every single week and work on is credibility, clarity, confidence, and understanding that you have a great community here with the Private Money Club. Why most people don't jump into private money, I meet people all the time who use hard money lending and or their own cash to do fix and flips because that's what they've always done, right? And it's easy for someone to go to a bank or go to a hard money lender and start that conversation. And even if they're going to pay more in interest to go work with a company like that, it's more difficult in people's minds to talk to a person. It's more difficult to talk to a person and say, hey, can I borrow $500,000 from you? Why? Because maybe they've never done it before, right? So sometimes if you've never done something before, it's new to you. So you're like, gosh, do I have enough credibility? And do I have the right documents in place? And if you don't have the credibility, if you feel like you're lacking the credibility or the clarity on how to do something, your confidence isn't going to be there, and you're simply going to stay doing what you've been doing. So we try to eliminate that here this Thursday, every single Thursday, and we do that through a few different ways. Number one, we practice. So if you're tuning into this every single week, your language should be going next level. My goal is for everyone that just tunes in every single week is that by tuning in every single week and going through the fundamentals, which I'm going to share with you on the next slide, you're able to repeat the documents that we use every single time. You're able to repeat your business model every single time. You're able to talk about your buying criteria all the time, as if it's as easy just like blinking your eyes, like it's part of your subconscious. So if we practice the fundamentals every single week, the idea here is as you start having conversations with people, it just becomes natural to talk about borrowing and lending, right? Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so that's what we're doing. What's funny is, and every single time that we do these calls, the biggest thing that I'm going to ask of you is to make a move. Make a move. What does that mean? Like, do something. Like, don't just like watch, don't just tune into these webinars and make your turkey sandwiches because it's lunchtime, and listen to this crazy guy talk about private money. I'm going to give you some action steps at the end, and I encourage you to pick one. Maybe it's just hopping on the next call that we do on next Thursday, right? So some things to think about, okay? Again, Q&As, questions, type them in the Q&A so that I can see them, and I'll go back and watch them or go back and answer them at the end, okay?
You ever feel like you don't have control of your real estate business or your money? That's right. The big banks and the institutions, they're in control, right? I know you felt that before. Private Money Club puts you back in the driver's seat. As members often tell us, it's a total game changer. Join the community of like-minded lenders and borrowers by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
Today's class, I'm probably going to dive in here for about 15, 20 minutes, but then I got to take off because we're going to the money tank, baby. We're headed to Salt Lake City, got a closing, and then I'm headed to the airport, okay? So might be a little bit shorter than our normal calls, but I'm going to give you a ton of value here, okay? So last week, I encouraged you guys, practice your fundamentals, schedule a call with the PMC team, click that link that says Blueprint, attend next Thursday's call. If you are on PMC, create your if you aren't on PMC, join Private Money Club, create a profile. There's a free option. Hello, why wouldn't you do that? And then once you see for yourself, wow, this is pretty cool, jump to Premier. I've got a lot of friends who have started the free, and and investor friends in my network, and they're like, wow, this is really cool. Can you help me with this? Can you introduce me to someone that does this? And I'm like, well, hey, that's part of the premium membership. Like, just jump leapfrog and get in there, man. And then I can help you out even more. You can help yourself out even more, right? So there's some benefits there, guys. Take advantage of it. I'm holding a new coaching session. It starts May 6th. So if you're interested in the accelerator program, click the link Jacob's going to throw up right now. Schedule a call with him, and he'll help you enroll into that class. And then Money Tank event is this weekend. If you're like, what the hell is the Money Tank? You can go to privatemoneyclub.com, click on events. Money Tank should pop up. There's a virtual option. You can join virtually. It's going to be an awesome 2 days of learning, networking, and growing. Okay, cool. All right. Fundamentals. Here we go. This is what, and what's crazy? Let me just slow down a little bit. This is iced coffee, by the way, so I'm not slowing down. One of the things that's crazy to me and kind of funny is, we're flying out today. My wife and I are headed to Salt Lake City. Is anyone else going to be at Money Tank virtually or in person? Are you like driving to Utah right now and you're listening to the webinar? Let me know. I think that would be amazing if that's you virtually. All right, cool. So Shauna and Steven asked me, they said, hey, do you want to do Quick Start? Do you want to do the Quick Start webinar on Thursday, today? And they're like, I know it's a travel day, like, what do you think? And I'm like, yes, yes, we want to do the quick start because this is practice, right? So like, if Money Tank is like the Super Bowl of Private Money Club, what aren't we gonna do some trial runs? Aren't we gonna run through some plays? Aren't we gonna practice? Isn't the football team gonna like practice before the Super Bowl? So we're doing the same thing. It was like absolutely like I'll work my flight around this call because it's good for me, like selfishly, like I'm staying sharp, right? It's good for you guys, whether you're in virtually or if you are attending in person. I'm gonna encourage you to network as much as you possibly can every opportunity that you have. There are going to be relationships made, and I'm telling you guys, this is why we practice, right? So I'm glad to do this right before we take off on the flight to get there, right? Like so shout out to Anne, who's her and her business partner are on the way, and you're tuning in. So shout out, I love it, I love it. All right. So what is private money lending? We're gonna get great at knowing this, saying this. Like we're telling someone our phone number. It's going to be second nature. What's a private money loan? That's a loan secured by real estate, just like a bank, right? Just like a bank. Those four little words really help. I'm going to say, I've said it 11 times. I'm going to say it one more time. Just like a bank. If you want to get great at having conversations, one of the best ways to build credibility in this business is by teaching private money lending, by sharing with people in your circle, in your networks, what private money lending it is and how it can benefit people, how it can potentially benefit them. So if you want to gain credibility, learn as much as you can, then go out and educate, right? Just like we're doing right now. So what is it? It's a loan secured by real estate. If I was talking to a family member or a friend or someone who I knew had some money and they wanted to put it to work, and I had a great real estate deal, and gosh, it makes sense to us, doesn't it? This makes sense. You can make money. I can make money. Let's do this together. Why doesn't this happen as much as we might think? Well, it's probably because they don't understand it, right? So one of the things that I just love helping people with is sharing with them how they can become private money lenders just like a bank. And here's how I do it. So if I'm talking to someone, they own their own house. It's like, hey, have you ever owned your own house? You own your house, right? Yeah. When you went to the closing, you signed a stack of papers this thick. Mortgage. You had a mortgage, right? Yep. You had a promise to pay. You signed. Yep. All right, cool. You're personally guaranteeing the loan. Yep. Before you bought the property, you had to call State Farm and get insurance set up, right? To make sure that the bank was on there. Yep. Just like a bank, we do the same exact thing for you. And when you start to explain it like that, the light bulbs go off, the heads start to nod, and people start to get it, and that's where like the credibility piece comes into play. Once we explain to them that we're operating and doing things just like a bank would want, banks have been. This is how they make their money. Now we're helping people make money like the banks make, right? So just like a bank. Now, if I'm a lender, I'm having the same conversation. So all of my lenders on the call, how many of you have actually gone out, found the real estate investor? Like I'm telling you, this is a homework assignment. If someone would just do it, you could have an amazing relationship where you're making money with these people over deal after deal after deal after deal. If I was looking for a place to park my money as a private money lender, I would be going to my local real estate investor clubs. I'd be going to events like Money Tank. I'd be finding out who's doing deals, who has a good reputation, who's doing, volume, maybe not just like one at a time and one deal every year or something like that. I'd be finding the real estate investors who know what they're doing. And I would be asking them, hey, how are you funding your deals right now? I think what you'll find is that a lot of people are still using hard money or their own cash. I went to my local real estate investor association club. Shout out to the True North. Is anyone on here that was there last night? Did anyone meet me last night at the True North RIA? If you're on the call, say hi in the chat box. There's people that are using their own cash, using hard money lending, and they've done lots of deals. Hey, why are you still doing that? I've never done this before. So if I was a lender, I'd find people who had credibility in my marketplace or in my community like PMC, and I would say to them, hey, how are you funding your deals? If they say hard money lending, I'd say, wow, let me ask you a question, like what interest rates are you paying? And if they're like, well, I'm paying 13%, I'm paying 14%, I'm paying 12%. Now you know that you could come in probably more and alleviate some of the headaches that they have to go through to use hard money lending, right? Or to use their own cash and the stress of having all that money into one deal, right? So you can solve problems, and you can come in and say, hey, just like a bank, just like a hard money lender, hello, I'm a private money lender, I can help you, right? And I think that's a great way to earn some business, which is awesome. Hey, Jamie, good to see you on the call. Jamie, shout out to Beaufort, South Carolina, right? That's where you live, right, Jamie? Pretty sure you're from Beaufort, right? All right, cool. So we practicing this? All right, cool. Show me the money. So the next step is, now that you're introducing this to people, hey, this is what it is, just like a bank. What's great is I pay, and these are my numbers. So my assignment to you is figure out what your numbers are, okay? I bet if we ask Chris Stokes this information, she would be able to tell you, right? So I bet you she would know it like the back of her hand. So I would say, hey, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest. Each loan opportunity is unique, right? We pay anywhere from 8. That's what I do. So I kind of set this. There's a big difference there, right? There's a 30% difference between 8 and 12. So my 8% might be for some of my longer term stuff. My 12% might be for some of my shorter term type fixed and flip properties, right? That's me. But the idea here is to have something. So if you're a lender, same thing. We're just flipping the switch, right? I charge anywhere. I lend at anywhere from 8 to 12%, or from 10 to 14%, or whatever that might be. Okay, so you're introducing the concept, whether you're a lender or borrower, and then talking about the interest rates, right? Is this good stuff so far? All right, cool. All right, right there with you. Chris says, yeah, she knows what she's doing. So then here's where it kind of goes next level, because anytime I hear of a headache or a disaster story when it comes to private money lending, it's usually that these items were not in place. And this is just a start. Okay, so if Leanne was on here and she said, hey, Noah, what questions should I be asking before I make a loan? These right here. So these are things that you want to ask for as a lender. As a borrower, these are things that we are providing. We are serving them up on a silver platter for our lenders. Say, hey, Mrs. Lender, here you go, silver platter. Every single loan that we do, that we borrow, we always provide a promissory note that outlines the terms of the loan. We always provide a mortgage or deed of trust, depending on which state you're in. This is what secures and collateralizes our money against a house, against a piece of real estate. What's so great about private money lending is that there's real estate involved. There's collateral. So this isn't like a handshake type of loan, or let me give you a loan to go start a food truck or something. No, there's collateral. So if someone doesn't pay us back, we go after the house, right? We can foreclose on the property. We get the keys, ideally, right? So promissory note, mortgage or deed of trust, personal guarantee, right? I want to make sure, hey, every single loan that we're doing, we're lending to an entity, usually, right? It's like LLC or something like that. But I want to make sure the managers, the owners, the person I've been talking to is also personally liable for my money, for my retirement. Hello, why wouldn't you ask for that? And then I want to make sure that there's insurance, just like a bank. So I'm going to list them as the lost payee. So you got to think, I'm going to set my company policy up. So if you're a borrower, our company policy, my company is called Revive Homes. So Revive Homes, our company policy at Revive Homes is every single time that we borrow funds, we provide a promissory note, a mortgage, personal guarantee, and we list our lenders on the insurance as a lost payee. We also do lender's title policies, okay? So as a lender, flip the coin, right? And this is why in the accelerator program that is starting May 6th, I teach a very in-depth of how all this stuff works, but I teach both sides of the coin. So I teach from a borrower's perspective. I teach you how to pitch, how to present. I turn you into a private money lending assassin, like what's Liam Nielsen? I have a special set of skills, right? Like something like that for private. On the lending side, it's the same thing. So I encourage my lenders to watch the borrower sessions and to participate. I encourage my borrowers to watch the lending sessions and participate, because it's just going to make you better on both sides, right? Great lenders understand the borrowing side. Lots of times it's because they once were the real estate investor. Maybe they made a bunch of money and now they don't want to do fix and flips anymore. They just want to have that money go out there and make them more money, right? So it's good to understand both sides of the coin. But if you are a lender, then as a lender, you're going to say, hey, here's my company policy. Our company policy is we want to see a promissory note, we want to see a mortgage or deed of trust, personal guarantee, and we want to make sure that we're listed on the insurance. Okay, and we want to see all of these things in writing prior to closing, right? With enough time for us to review them where we're not feeling rushed. Okay, that's very normal, easy, simple, no-brainer requests. Okay, so these are the 4 things. So Leanne, this is what I would want to see, right? At a minimum, is the person that you're doing business with, do they have a team in place that can help you with this? So the very first thing I said when I hopped on this call, that I hop on every single call, is the importance of surrounding yourself with a great team. So I want to make sure that if I'm the borrower, I'm working with a real estate attorney that can help a lender if the lender wants help drafting all of these documents. I'm not going to go online, print them off some website, and then go down and try to record this stuff myself. The professionals handle all of this, the title companies, the real estate attorneys, right? You guys follow me? There's a theme here, right? Make your life easy. Why would you want to do all that yourself, hoping you did it the right way? Work with the attorneys. But we're going to ask for this stuff every single time. You're welcome, Leanne. We're just getting started. Leanne, take the accelerator. Jacob, put the link in there. We need Leanne in that class, okay? Show me the money. All the documents are prepared and recorded by a licensed professional, right? Every single time. Well, one of the biggest mistakes I see, people have promissory notes, but they have no mortgage, or they go get a promissory note, they get the mortgage, but then the mortgage is never recorded. Well, if the mortgage is never recorded, there's no like lien filed, right? That's the whole point of doing this, is to have the lien, public record, it's on there. You're making sure you're getting paid when the house sells or the investor refinances, right? So we got to make sure that this is done. Most counties can do this online, right? They can do it online, easy breezy, 24 hours. It's recorded, right? Some of the more rural areas, in my area anyways, you got to do it the old fashioned way, but have the attorneys do it. So let's get great at saying this, guys. And I'm going to sign off here in about 5 minutes because I'm so excited. I'm going to go catch my flight to Money Tank. But where else can a real estate investor borrow all the money that they need to fund a real estate deal without having to go to a bank? Recently, my wife and I refinanced a house, our primary residence, right? So we used cash to get the deal done. And kind of sat around a little while, and we're like, all right, you know what? Let's pull this out so we can go do more stuff with it. And we went through that refinancing process. Oh my God, what a nightmare that was. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I just want to go. This is horrible. All the things that they're asking for and doing, and all the weird stuff that they want to ask about from 11 years ago. That was falsely recorded on reported on a credit bureau and you're on the phone with the IRS, you're on the phone with Equifax, like all you're trying to do is just get a loan. It's ridiculous. So imagine having to go through that process as a real estate investor. It's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. So that's why we love private money lending so much. We can do this the right way, where we're just like a bank in the requirements, the documents, asking good questions and things like that, but there isn't so much red tape where it slows us down. And then from a lending perspective, where else can a person put money to work at a great interest rate and have that money secured by an asset that's worth much more? Okay, so that's what gets lenders excited. Cool. Yeah, Chris just posted a deal. Awesome. Just posted a deal. I can't wait to see it. So in Private Money Club, what's cool is if you have a deal or you want to put money to work, you can click on deals and you can see in there all the opportunities for lending that are available. Go check it out. And one more shout out to Chris. It's at least worth having a conversation with someone like a Christine Stokes, and she's a good friend of mine. And I'm not here to endorse Christine's deal or anybody's deals specifically, but one of the things I always encourage my accelerator students is let's start having conversations. Okay, so when's the best time as a lender to have your next deal lined up that you're going to fund? When's the best time to have your next deal lined up? Right now. Yeah, like yesterday, right? And as a borrower, when's the best time to have your funds lined up? Even if you don't have a deal. If I don't have a deal right now that needs funding, wouldn't it be nice to still have the lender lined up? So the idea here, yeah, Drew says yesterday, is to have conversations with folks and don't rely on one person. Lots of times if I ask people, hey, how many like, do you know who's going to be funding this deal? Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to use this person. Okay, great. That sounds good. Go find two more people. Because what's going to happen if you have a deal and that one person went and lent to somebody else, or they went and like bought a boat or did something else with the funds, right? So it's good to have a backup plan. And then I'm gonna leave you guys at this: as you set your goals, right? What's up, Jennifer Patel? If you set your goals, if you're thinking about setting your goals, like you're going to Money Tank, right? My ladies that are driving to Money Tank, my people that are driving to Money Tank right now, and you're listening on the webinar, get out a notebook, get out a pen and paper, all right? And here's what we got. Here's what I want you to figure out. Here's what we're gonna figure out. If you are a real estate investor, figure out how many flips you plan on doing in the next 12 months. Okay, so let's just say, keep it simple, you plan on doing 10 deals. And to keep the math super simple, let's say in order to do one deal in your marketplace, you need $200,000. Maybe you buying for 150, you're putting 50 into them, 200,000. But you want to do 10 deals this year. Go find $2 million this weekend at Money Tank. Right? Go find $2 million. Build relationships with enough people. Maybe it's just one person. Maybe it's two. Maybe it's three. Maybe it's four. I don't know. Maybe it's five. I don't think you need 100 people. I know that for a fact, right? So if you build 5 good relationships with lenders that you meet this weekend, whether it's virtually or in person, right? The goal here is $2 million. But you might say, well, no, I'm not going to be needing $2 million. I only need $200,000 to do a deal in my market. Well, it's never going to be perfect, right? You're never going to buy a house, fix it up, sell it, have the next one lined up the same day, right? And you can use that same lender to fund that deal, right? What's going to happen is you're probably going to have 3 or 4 projects going on in different phases throughout that time. And then you're also going to have people like lenders that you might say yes at first, but then might go somewhere else. And so it's good to have backup. So whatever your goal is, 10 houses, 200 grand a pop to do that. Cool. Go. We need $2 million in that case. All right. So whatever your number is, I want you to write it down, start manifesting that, and make it your goal this weekend to go find that money. All right. On the lending side, it's the same thing. Like maybe you have an income goal, and here's what we got to figure out. We got to figure out, hey, what interest rate, how much money do we have to put to work, right? What does that look like? And you're just reverse engineering it, right? Maybe you're just happy, not necessarily with a dollar amount, but an interest rate amount, right? So start thinking about what your goals are with the funds that you have and what you want to create in your life. Maybe it's that mailbox money. Maybe it is a dollar amount to help supplement your retirement. Like I saw a bunch of people on here. Maybe it's just the fact that, hey, you know what? I'm only starting out with 20 grand, 30 grand or less or smaller amount. But gosh, if that amount of money can be making 12%, 14%, lending it out to someone like Christy Duckett, who's going to be teaching how to do mobile home investing this weekend at Money Tank, maybe that's your play, right? So I hope that helps, guys. There's some goals for you. I'm going to answer some questions and then I'm going to sign off. Okay. So for the next few minutes, we'll be doing some Q&A. Cool. Claudia Brown. Great. Love to see it. All right, Justin, where do I send a deal for a review? So great question, Justin. Couple different, I guess I'm wondering like what you mean by review. If you're an accelerator or part of the accelerator program, like with my students, like I help them present and package so I can say, hey, look, like maybe like from my opinion as an investor, this is what I do, and I could probably help you out with that. You can post a deal in Private Money Club for funding, if that's what you mean. And someone, you can say, hey, I've got a deal, I'm looking for a lender, and then lenders can reach out to you. And there's also a company called Plus One Underwriting that we're going to be talking about this weekend. Chris and the team at PMC have had them on a few times, and we're really excited because PMC is adding an underwriting element to the company. I mean, there's a company that we work with, and if you want help reviewing a deal maybe that you're going to be lending on, you can actually hire this company to go and help you underwrite that deal, which is super cool. So that could be something in the future for you as well. And then Claudia says, insurance is the lender. Are we able to buy insurance just like a bank, guarantee the portion of principal if anything goes bad? Yeah, absolutely, Claudia. So if you're lending, I would ask the borrower to make sure that they have insurance on the property and that they list you as the loss payee on the insurance. And then prior to closing and wiring the funds, they're going to send you the evidence of insurance, and you're going to see your name on there, and everything's going to match up how you like it, right? Which is cool. Can the PMC provide guidance on the best way to post a deal? Here's what I like, Chris. Christine said, "Hey, what's the best way to post a deal?" One of the things I've seen do really well is pictures of the properties. So make sure you have a good picture that's kind of eye-catching when you're posting your deals. And when you post a deal, you can list out the specifics and things like that. It's a little vanilla. It doesn't go into too much detail right now. But what I would do, Christine, is I would actually attach all of my my packet. So Christine probably has like a lender packet, private money lender packet, and maybe it talks about her business, talks about the deal, comps, repair estimates, things like that in regards to that particular property. So Christine might attach that to the deal. So when someone's looking at it, they can just click on that, and then boom, that pulls up for them. Right. And one thing that's really important too, I'll give you some guidance on this, Christine. When you post a deal on Private Money Club, make sure you give people a specific call of action, of how you want them to reach out to you. Like, tell people what the next step is. Danica, you sent me a message, not to that person. So just make sure that you send it to her, or maybe I can get you in contact. Let me just write this down. Sorry, I see this here. I want to make sure I take care of you guys, but I don't want to like blast your phone number on here. All right, cool. I'll make sure that message gets sent. All right, cool. All right. How much is the accelerator program? A couple $1,000. Is it for lenders and borrowers? Yes. Okay, so how this works, Leanne, with the accelerator program. Jacob, if you're in the chat, put the link there. And they do discounts. They have all kinds of promos that they do. So I would budget around $2,000 for the accelerator program. So how it works is on Mondays, I teach from a borrower perspective. On Wednesdays, I teach from a lender's perspective. But my lenders absolutely appreciate and love the fact that that they're learning both sides of the coin. So like I'm sharing with you insight on how the borrowers think, and I'm sharing with you insight on how the lenders think, so that you can be the absolute best that you can be at both, right? No matter where you're at. So we teach both, and I know there's a bunch of people who have taken the accelerator who are on here who would tell you the exact same thing, which is awesome. Okay. And if you're lending, I'm telling you right now, like I see mistakes all the time, and I can only talk so much on these webinars. You guys, if you're serious about lending and serious about borrowing, the investment is worth it, because I'm going to teach you how to save or make that money every single time you fund or do a deal. I'm going to teach you how to go from 12% to 14% if you're a lender. If you're a borrower, I'm going to teach you how to go from paying 14% to paying 10%, right? With the negotiation strategies and things that I teach you guys. So it's a super good investment. If it's secured by real estate, if the borrower defaults, and there is a group of different people investing, how does that work? Great question. It just depends. It depends on the paperwork. I'm not a huge fan of, and by the way, we're not pooling funds. And I know there's ways where you can do this, like fractionalized mortgage, where there's a bunch of different people have first position liens and things of this nature. I prefer just to be my own. And for my lenders, like I usually don't piece a bunch of money together to fund a deal, even if it is wrapped in a mortgage or a company or something. I like to keep it super simple, right? So to answer that question, it's just going to be on how like the documents are. But what's going to happen is if a house goes to foreclosure, it's going to sell at foreclosure, and if everyone has a first position, everyone's going to get first dibs. If that makes sense, right? If there's a second position, you got the first position, second position, sells at auction, this person is taken care of as much as possible. Whatever's left over down here, is for the second position. So it's important. That's why you got to understand how you structure it and making sure that you have things like the mortgage in place and that the mortgage is recorded. Great question. What's the status on states that are banned from publishing in PMC? Is that going to be lifted? Yeah, there's some really good news on that. I don't know if that's above my pay grade to talk about that. But I believe with the new rollout of PMC 3.0, I believe Colorado is the only state that is kind of is going to be in limbo with how all of that works. So, but I don't want to like go on the record, right? But I know that they're working really hard to make sure that all states are good to go. They did talk about, and I was on a call, and on the call that person talked about how if your company is set up, like your LLC is set up in a different state, like Nevada, Wyoming, or something along those lines, then it's fair game, right? So maybe a little asset protection, corporate structuring strategy could help you with that. Again, that's above my pay grade. Definitely want to consult with your counsel before making any decisions. Is Money Tank covering short-term rental arbitrage? It might. I'm not. But I'm not sure. There could be a speaker there that's covering short-term rentals and those types of things, right? Yeah, and James said, yeah, normally the pooling is happening on larger dollar values. Yeah, if it's a big project you're taking down, things like that. But hopefully it's done correct, right, James? So hopefully there's like a syndication. Everything is filed with the SEC, FTC. So that's a different animal than what we teach on these weekly webinars, which is using debt positions through like mortgage or deed of trust, right? A little different. So, all right, cool, guys. This has been awesome. You guys are awesome. All right, I love this. Okay, I love a good question. All right, my wife's. We gotta hit the road, but here we go. Michelle says, I don't understand how a borrower can be taught 8 to 10, and the lender can be taught 10 to 12. Well, that's the fun of it, Michelle. So imagine I'm teaching a fun group of real estate lenders and borrowers, and I'm sharing all the insight with my borrowers on how to only pay 10%. And at the same time, I'm sharing all the insight with the lenders on how they should be demanding 14%. So then you just light the match, you sit back and watch everybody and watch the negotiation commence, right? That's what makes this so fun. It's a fun time. And it is about people and relationships. So I know as a borrower, there's lots of times where I'm shooting for 10% every single time. But guess what? If there's a fat deal, a nice profit that we're gonna make, I can afford to come up a little bit. And those are conversations that I'm gonna have with my lenders. And I'm teaching the lenders the same exact thing. Hey, look, if there's an opportunity where you want to make sure your money is being put to work as often as possible, you may have to come down a little bit. But if there's a situation, there's certain things like maybe you're working with that person for the first time. Maybe the first time you charge more, right? Because you don't know them and you're building the relationship together. So I have lenders right now where for the last 9 or 10 years, we've gone from 14% to 9%. It's just deal specific. And there is a little banter, a little bit of fun with it when it comes to negotiating and working together. So it's not, it doesn't have to be a win-lose type of situation. It's win-win. And Michelle, I hope that helps answer your question, right? We have some fun with that. Okay. All right, cool. No two deals are alike. That's awesome. You're right. All right, cool, guys. This has been awesome. I will see you in Salt Lake. And if you haven't bought a ticket yet and you're like, that sounds awesome, I want to go, but I can't get on a plane today. However, I can get on my laptop Friday and Saturday. Then in the link, I'm going to have Jacob one more time put up Private Money Club. You can go buy a virtual ticket, a couple $100, I think, for a virtual ticket. And you can have a good time. You can join us virtually. I'll be hopping in the virtual room, answering questions, teaching whenever I'm not on stage. It's going to be a really great time. So, all right, guys, have a good one. All right. Happy investing. And I hope you hit your private money goals this weekend. Let's go. I will see you next Thursday. All right. Take care.